technical difficulties, but we're here. What's up? What's up, everyone? How are you guys? I'm doing okay. I know I was off for a couple of days. I was doing a bunch of different things, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like going live, but I need to stop doing that, and I need to get back into the habit of going live every day. Stop! I need to get back into the habit of going live every day. Stop! But I also want to let you guys know a couple of things. One, starting, what's today? Today's Monday. Starting Wednesday, we're going to start Black Friday specials. Get down. We're going to start Black Friday specials. So every single day, there's going to be a new special. Get off. You're going to pull the plug out. Out. No. Fucking dog. Stop. You're all tangled in cords. Out. Go. Out. Go. Out. Skedaddle. Dog loves being wrapped up in cords. Go. You want to go out? Do you want to go out? Hold on. You both bug me, and neither one of you want to go out. What's up? Come on. Go. Go. You bug me. Go. Yes or no? Rolling around. No. Doggy eyes. Sorry about that. She don't want to go out. All right. No, this has nothing to do with that. But that's a whole separate case. Whole separate thing. But we could talk about that too. But there's a couple things that I do want to talk about first. First I have to plug in my phone. Because this is like a nightmare. Hold on. Come on. No, out. Ah, now she can't bug me. So a couple of things I want to tell you guys first. If you didn't know about this, you're going to hear it here first, like most things. But I want to give you guys a heads up for next year. YouTube is coming out with a new feature called, I have an inside source that told me this. YouTube is coming out with a new feature. I think it's going to be a paid feature that, I don't know, it like you hype it up or something. It's called YouTube Hype. And you give the creator like what is it? I don't know. You hype up the creator, and I think it might be with money. And the more hype you give the creator, the more YouTube pushes it. Everyone thinks this is such a great idea. I think it's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard. And it's the rich get richer, because if you have, 10 million subs, people are going to push it, and that's a good thing. But if you're brand new and have 5 subs, you're never going to get pushed out by the algorithm. So you heard it here first. I don't know if it's a paid feature. I have a feeling it is, but that's one of the new things coming out on YouTube for 2025. Another new thing that's coming out, which I also think is absolutely the dumbest thing I ever heard, was they're making YouTube community tabs like a Facebook, where any one of you guys can write on my community tab, share pictures, everything. Why they're doing it, I have no idea, but they are. So keep those things in mind for 2025 because it's coming and 2025 is right around the corner. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. You heard it here first, and that's what I know that's coming in 2025. And again, dumbest things I ever heard. I don't know how those features help anybody except um, the big creators. And like YouTube's going to hold contest of who gets the most hype. Again, it's stupid because the rich get richer. That's all it's going to be. So just to let you guys know, that is coming next year. I don't know when next year, but it is coming for 2025. So heads up. So when it comes, you could be like, I heard about that. Okay, so that's first thing I want to say. Second thing I want to say is I'm going to ask Queen Bee for a loan. So Queen Bee, can I have a loan, please? You know, because she makes all the dough. But that's a joke. Kind of, sort of. But seriously, though, starting Wednesday, we're doing Black Friday specials all the way up until Black Friday. Every night, I'm going to run something different, and we're going to have a good time with it. It's still going to have the regular, you know, live, but there will be specials all week. Next thing, there was another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now I forgot. Oh, so I found the case that I want to do the next video on, but I'm trying to get more information on it. But I think you guys will like it from the other channel. So make sure you subscribe to the other channel. And the case is fairly new, but it's pretty wild. So I've been working on that in between working on website stuff, and I've just been super busy. So I'm going to get it done this week. I originally said Wednesday, but there's no way I can get it done tomorrow because it's going to it takes more than one day. So, but I'm getting it out there. Promise. All right. Oh, another thing that we can do. I have to get you guys the link. I just saw it today. Patreon, you can now gift Patreons. I guess Patreon got on this gifting thing. So if you want to buy someone a Patreon, you can buy someone a Patreon. That is new. It just started. I have to get you guys the link, but yes, so you can now give someone a Patreon. All right. That was all the stuff I had to tell you guys. Now let's get into today's topic. So it seems that there is a maniac running around New York City this morning and stabbed 3 people, and unfortunately, all 3 of them passed. Has anyone checked on BTIM? The sad part is it all could have been avoided. It all could have been avoided. It never had to happen. There seems to be this new thing lately about mental illness. It's a mental illness crisis. No, it's not. It's a fucking failure in the justice system. It has nothing to do with, I mean, I can't say it has nothing to do with mental illness. We're going to get into that. But, and I'm going to give you guys some statistics and everything. But the fact that this guy was let out of jail just further goes back to my theory that I've been saying since I was in college and since I did my master's, and I stand by it. And I'm going to explain that. But if anybody doesn't even know what the hell I'm talking about, I'm going to let's watch a couple of minutes of CBS so anyone that is clueless can be brought up to date. Whoops, hold on. because some of you guys might not even know what's going on. Hey, Joy. Long time no see. All right. We just switch monitors. All right, so if you don't know what happened today, no. I don't even know if he was an illegal alien. I don't think they've said, actually. Well, QB's loan voices money before her voice mention it, so you may get your loan. I need like $1,000 though, which is like nothing for her. So, and thank you for your service, Matthew. All right, so I'm going to play this for anyone that it doesn't know what happened this morning or doesn't know what's going on. Hey, Deb.
Correspondent Antonia Hilton joins us now at the scene of one of the attacks. Antonia, is there any known connection between the attacker and the victims?
Lester, authorities say these attacks were completely unprovoked and that no words were exchanged between the victims and the suspect. This corner right here is where the third and final victim was attacked, and she's still fighting for her life in a hospital tonight. Tonight, chilling video of a suspect police say was preparing for a stabbing spree in New York, donning a hoodie, putting on gloves, and pulling a knife from his bag.
The senseless violence should never happen.
Officials say 51-year-old Ramon Rivera used these knives to stab 3 people unprovoked.
This is our suspect for all these stabbings,
leaving 2 men dead and 1 woman in critical condition.
Well, I'm very nervous walking the streets of New York anyway, so to hear this is really upsetting.
The random attacks began at 8:20 a.m. this morning on Manhattan's West Side, where Rivera stabbed his first victim, a 36-year-old construction worker, according to police. Police say Rivera then moved by foot across the city. About 2 hours later, he stabbed another 68-year-old man out fishing by the East River. And just before 11 a.m., police say he stabbed a 36-year-old woman near the United Nations headquarters, the woman still fighting for her life in a local hospital. A cab driver followed the suspect and tipped off the NYPD.
I just heard a commotion from where I was, stepped outside, heard what people were saying, and reacted.
This witness says he saw the arrest.
That's when he put his hands up. He went on the ground, no struggle, no anything. He didn't fight.
Rivera has an extensive criminal record with 8 arrests in the last year. City officials say he has a documented history of mental health concerns.
It is a clear example of the criminal justice system and mental health system that continues to fail New Yorkers.
Antonia Hilton, NBC News, New York.
Okay, so that's now you guys are up to date on what actually happened. Now I have a lot to say. And I have video of New York City.
The search is on for the gunman.
I have video from New York City from Friday night. What's interesting to me is how empty it is. When I lived in New York City on a Friday night, it was so packed, especially this time of year because it's really pretty. I cannot believe how empty the streets are. I'm like blown away. Like people aren't walking around. Like I thought it was different after 9/11, but wow, that's crazy. So we're going to play New York City in the background. It's 5th Avenue. Now, the cops want to say that, oh, it's a mental health crisis. I had this conversation with somebody, a couple of people the other day. And one of the things I said is we were talking about people killing, moms killing their kids. And I said, I wonder if it's a totally separate issue that has to do with abortion. I was like, it seems like all the states that abortion now became illegal, more moms are killing their sons. killing their kids. So I did some research on it, and there's not a lot of data for 2023. Everything kind of stops at 2022, but the states that I was able to find 2023, it was all up. So I have to wonder if I'm right. But again, we won't get more details until data comes out for 2023. But in some of the southern states where abortion is illegal, mothers killing their kids is way up. So that gets me thinking. And again, still researching. I've only got about data in 4 states, but 4 states confirm my hunch that I'm right. In this situation, I said, and I've told you guys this before, I told my professor when I was in my master's degree for criminal justice that I firmly believe the problem with letting people out of jail is they let them out with no medicine. They were in jail, they got medicine every day. So they became a normal person because they were on the meds they needed. They let them out and they just let them go. They don't give them medicine. And now remember, they can't get food stamps either, because if you're a felon, you can't get food stamps. So here are known criminals. Where do you expect them to go? What do you expect them to do? So this guy has been arrested 8 fucking times in the last year. What did you think he was going to do when he got out? He just spent 8 months in Rikers Island, which is one of New York's toughest prisons. It's a maximum security prison. It is tough. He probably got his medicine every day in Rikers Island, and he was probably normal. He was just fine. And he got his meds, so they didn't think he was going to be a harm to anybody because he was perfectly fine. Because he had his medicine to make him, quote unquote, normal. And then they let him out. He had nowhere to go. He didn't have money for medication. They don't give him any medication. So tell me what the fuck this man was, what did they expect from this man? You bring someone in who has a deep mental illness, I would say even fucking psychotic. He's a multiple criminal. I can't think of the word, but he's a criminal over and over and over. What the hell did you think was going to happen? 8 felonies, 8 months in Rikers. Oh, it was only at 14 days. Thank you. I couldn't remember if it was a month or 14 days. But 14 days is enough for medications to wear off. Now, what I can tell you with firsthand knowledge, New York City police, they don't care anymore. Their rights were taken away. They are not allowed to do anything until an accident happens. They can see a guy walking down the street with a knife. Guess what? It's not illegal to walk around with a knife. They can't do anything until the guy actually does something. New York City cops no longer have the power that they once had. They no longer are allowed to do things that they were once allowed to do. It's a dangerous place for not only criminals, for citizens, but it's a dangerous place for police. And people don't realize that. So something like this, it does not surprise me that people saw this guy changing on the street and they didn't really do anything. Oh, you're a cop, Matt? Matt, do you want a link? Do you want to come up and talk? My brother was a cop for 26 years, and he just retired 2 years ago. Last year or 2 years ago, I forget. But he retired. He did 25 years, but he retired because they couldn't do anything anymore. It was like you just sat around waiting for crime to happen because you couldn't do anything unless the crime actually happened. Do you have Zoom? Do you know what Zoom is? Because I mean, I could set up StreamYards if you don't. It's just a pain in the ass. Hold on. There's the link. Oh, you do have Zoom. Awesome. And it does not surprise me that citizens saw this and did nothing. I don't blame them. You can't do anything with criminals anymore. New York City has become such a nightmare. It's sad. I mean, it's truly fucking sad. I'm just shocked at how empty it is, to be honest. Like, whoa. And it's the greatest city in the world. But it's become so scary. And I know the news report said that the one lady was in the hospital. I heard that she did pass. She wasn't critical, but I did hear she passed, unfortunately. But this guy should have never been out of jail. But jails are overcrowded. They don't give a shit anymore. I totally agree with you, Joy. Mayor should be in jail. What they've done to the police, what they've done to the city, there's no protection. There's nothing anymore. I see why the streets are empty, why people don't want to be there. It's a sad place to be now. I mean, in all fairness, though, I do know that random stabbings can happen anywhere. And it does happen everywhere. But just to be fishing on the water, and all of a sudden, some psychopath comes and stabs you to death. Like, why? Now, as far as the other case that you guys are talking about, Matt, where'd you go? The other case you guys are talking about, to me personally, isn't the guy black? Which tells me it's a racial issue. Oh, black man, he must have killed him. He must have done it on purpose. Because if it was a white veteran, you think he'd be in jail? Never. Never, ever. And he wouldn't be facing 15 years. Guaranteed. Now, the guy that threatened, was he a white guy or a black guy? I know that David is a black man. But was the criminal, was he white or black? Was he a white guy? I don't know much about the case. I just heard about it recently. Yeah, Matthew said he had Zoom. I don't know what happened to him. He left. But honestly, guys, I am 100% convinced that I am right about the reasons for stuff like this happening. But the city is never going to take responsibility for what happened. The city, they're just going to say, like everything else, oh, it's just a mental health crisis. It's just a mental health issue. No, it's not. And even if you want to say it is a mental health issue, are we so different than our parents were? Are we so much different than the 60s? No. I mean, they're not asking themselves, and psychologists and psychiatrists aren't asking themselves, well, what's causing a mental illness crisis? People aren't on more meds now or need more meds now than they needed way back when. Is it preservatives? Is it food related? Is it something in the air? Is it chemicals? What is causing all this mental illness? People having kids later, like something, there has to be a root cause of it. It's not like all of a sudden more kids are having defects for living. You know what I'm saying? Like it what is causing that to happen? What's causing mental illness? Like everything, all I keep hearing is, oh, well, he did that because of mental illness. Well, he did this because of mental illness. Well, he did that because of mental illness. Well, what the fuck is causing the mental illness? That's what they need to find. They can't just rule everything out. As far as my abortion thing, I really believe this. I will prove it. It's going to take me a lot of research to really be able to prove it. But so far, Tennessee is up. Texas is up. Iowa's up. There's a couple of places that I was able to find that, yeah, where they made abortion illegal, more parents are killing their kids. And the interesting thing, like this is really wild. Blue states have a higher amount of abuse towards kids, but not deaths. I just learned that. We raise a consequence to actions people now removed from humanity. Maybe. I don't know. Sly, the reason why I don't agree with that, we don't have less treatment programs now than we did back then. So what's causing more addicts? What's causing, there has to be a root issue. And we can't seem to get to that root issue. I am a big believer in, I won't say alternative medicine or alternative ways to think, but I'm a big believer. Cut all the bullshit out and get to the root. If I'm having a bad day, well, I can say it's because of this, because of this, because of it, but what's the root of it? Like, where does it stem from? Where does it start? And I'm a big, big believer in this. And when Sage was younger and had some issues and told me she needed medicine, and I said, no, you don't. You need to find out the root of what's wrong and work with that. And that's exactly what she did. And you know what? She was perfectly fine. So I know that psychologists don't really see things like that. And, they work from the outside in. But I'm like, fuck it. Just dive head first right to the core. You got to find the core. That's how I feel about this. There has to be a root issue. And that's the thing. The system failed again. The system fails a lot, but why? What is causing the system to fail? Is it people being overworked? Is it not having enough, not hiring enough? Is it not enough money? People don't care enough. You got to find the root of why the system failed. And I think that's what takes so much time and effort and energy that they're just not putting into. They're not putting in the core. They're not looking for the core. They're looking for not circumstantial, but they're looking for uh what's the word? I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but they're looking for basic stuff to say, okay, CPS failed them. And I'm just using CPS as an example. CPS failed the kid. Why? Because they're overworked. No, that's not why CPS failed the kid. There's a core issue that's a lot more serious than, oh, okay, she's overworked. There's not enough people. No, she's probably not paid enough and doesn't give a fuck. And that's the core, that she don't give a shit. She don't want to do the paperwork. She wants to, just go on with her day and doesn't give a fuck about you and doesn't give a fuck about your kid. That's the core of the issue, that she just doesn't care. That's how I feel about the police department. Not the cops themselves, but the cops themselves are being taught from the mayor and everybody else, don't give a shit. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you survive every day and get home every day. Because all this other stuff is going to happen regardless. All of this other stuff is going to, it's just going to be. So even if you care, it doesn't matter. Hence, off subject a little, but teachers. I don't know, when we were young, teachers seemed to have gave a shit. Nowadays, very, very rare to find a teacher that truly cares, because they don't anymore. They just go to work, they do their job, and they go home. That's it. You can see it. Like, you go to meet your kid's teacher, you can see they don't give a shit. Why? I don't know. But not paid enough, I mean, of course you have some here and there, but for the most part, they don't care because they're taught it doesn't matter anymore. And I really believe that's what's happened to police in the city. They don't give a fuck anymore. Same thing with lawyers. Lawyers stop caring. Just do what you got to do, make your money, go home. This doesn't affect your life. And you just do what you got to do, survive every day. That's what I feel the world has come to. But you can't take a prisoner and just let them go free. You can't take a prisoner and not have a plan. They used to have plans for prisoners. They don't even have plans anymore. Yeah, sometimes they'll go to a halfway house, but that's another thing. Why wasn't this guy at a halfway house? Why was this guy even allowed to have a knife? Why was he allowed to walk down the street? It makes no sense. But I'll tell you why. Because he walked out of Rikers. Here you go. Free man. They don't give a fuck. They're just doing their job. They're surviving every day. They don't care about your kid. I mean, not your kid. They don't care about your life. You're out of their hands now. You're no longer their responsibility. They don't give a fuck what happens to you. Rikers Island COs open that door. You're not their problem anymore. Whatever you do in the real world, not their problem. And that's the world today. Um, Hang on. Here you go. You want to know why they don't care? I'll tell you why. New York police officer who helped Dominican Republic drug ring gets 33 months in prison. I guess they weren't paying enough. Another NYPD cop set to stand trial for sex charges involving underage boys. A 14-year-old girl jumps from a roof of a luxury Soho apartment. This is just the Daily News. Hold on. Man 26 critical after being stabbed just off busy Bay Ridge, Brooklyn shopping strip. This is all today, by the way. Hey, Coffee. Cops are as crooked as the criminals. Long Island doctor pleads guilty to $900,000 in fraud. 46-year-old man stabbed in Upper West Side. $11-month-old Bronx girl drowned in a bathtub. A homicide. City is no joke. Off-duty cop. Another NYPD leaves scene of an accident. Crazy. This is all stuff to. Oh, absolutely. I lived in New York City and New York and Long Island. 100%. See, they want to say an unhinged man. No, a fucking violent criminal. Let's call it what it is. He's a violent criminal that you assholes let out of jail. For what reason? Nobody knows. Because personally, I would refer to him more as the felon who should have never been out. So second one was East River. At 30th Street. So he was on West 19th and then walked up to 30th. You could do that within a half hour. But this was like, here's the other thing. People think this was random. No, this was premeditated. He had the knives in a backpack. He had a change of clothes in the backpack. He had a lot of stuff in the backpack. This was totally premeditated. He knew what he was doing. And then from 30th Street, less than a half hour later, he hit a 36-year-old woman who was stabbed at 42nd. At East 42nd. Yeah, he wasn't, people think like that takes hours. No, he could have done all of that within an hour. According to police, passing cab drivers saw the assault, mistook it for a robbery, and flagged down a cop. Two bloody carving knives were recovered from the suspect, whose clothing was drenched in blood. See, there's a real question as to why he was on the street. He has some serious mental health issues. So for those of you guys that may not know, on October 17th, he was arrested and charged with grand larceny for stealing an acrylic bowl from a Jonathan Adler store in Soho valued at about $1,500. The assistant DA asked for bail, but Riviera was released with no bail and ultimately charged with petty larceny and possession of stolen property. 2 months earlier, on August 5th, Riviera was sentenced to 364 days for a series of 3 Manhattan burglaries that took place in December and January. In May, Riviera was arrested for an assault on a cop inside Bellevue Psychiatric Ward. He pleaded guilty the same day to attempted assault and was sentenced to 90 days on September 4th. Riviera was also arrested in the Bronx in December 2023 for petty larceny. Police responded to 2 incidents in 2023 where the suspect was emotionally disturbed. According to sources in November, Riviera was found lying on a curb near a Flushing, Queens, acting erratically and saying his arm hurt. The following month, he called 911 to report being suicidal and saying he wanted to kill someone. Medics took him to Wood Hill Hospital in Brooklyn. He also has numerous out-of-state arrests. In January, he was busted in Jersey on a fugitive from justice charge. The same month, he was arrested twice in Hoboken, New Jersey for criminal mischief. He was charged in 2018 with assault in Columbus, Ohio, and 2017 in Cleveland. In 2010, he had a probation violation arrest in Florida, and in 2009, he was arrested twice more, including once for driving under the influence. He was also arrested in 2006 on a prostitution-related charge, 2003 for battery in Florida. Please tell me why this man was out of a psych ward, out of prison, out of anything. How many charges is someone have to get locked up? He was respectful. He would say good morning, he added. He looked like a guy who would go to church. Very clean-cut guy. Lando, who has lived on the block for over 20 years, said the fatal stabbing was a disturbing event that reminded him of times past. I haven't heard of anything like this in a long time. Why was he out of jail? This all falls on the city. It falls on the justice system. It falls on the mayor. I don't know why he ever got out and is not in a psychiatric ward. Just this year alone, I hope all 3 of those families sue the fuck out of New York City. I really do. These deaths happened. This stabbing happened because New York City doesn't give a fuck. That's why. No other reason. It's not mental health issues. This happened because New York City doesn't care. To let this man walk free with everything on his record, so recent, and you just let him go. How do you expect this man to survive? How do you expect him to to live? How do you expect him to do anything? You expect he's just gonna all of a sudden get a life? All of a sudden he's going to get a job? You just let him walk free. Here, you know he's stole stuff. He already told you that he's suicidal and that he wanted to hurt someone. What'd you think was going to happen? I just don't get it. And now you have this case.
By chokehold, that's how the
I was stunned. I was like, no, this can't be, but I know his face.
Mentally ill subway rider who was harassing passengers and then was restrained.
Jordan, I just feel like he just went through the cracks. Jordan was a very happy baby. He lived with me for a very long time, and everywhere I went, I took him. He would hear Michael Jackson come on. Oh, he just started jumping and dancing and screaming, and he would do what he had to do, and he was very good. His mom got behind on rent, and she wound up in a shelter for a while. I didn't know too much about the guy that she was with. I didn't too much care for her. I saw something in his eyes. I said to myself, that's a mean man. You got mean-looking eyes. And believe it or not, the night Christy got killed, her voice came to me in my bedroom, in that fall right there. She said, Aunt Mildred, Sean just killed me. And the next day, that's when we found out she was dead. Jordan he changed tremendously. He was heartbroken ever since. He would just stare. Why did that man why did Sean kill my mama? Why did Sean kill my mama? And from then on, he started going down, down, down.
I met Jordan in 2009. It was the summer of 2009. Jordan was a regular performer, busking at Times Square. He was just chilling, laid back. He was not overbearing.
At that point, he was hard for me to catch up with because I didn't know what train he would be on. But he did come up to visit me, knock at the door. I said, who is it? It's me, Aunt Mildred. It's me, Aunt Mildred. I said, Jordan, it's so good to see you. He said, I'm coming by to see how you doing, Aunt Mildred.
The last time I saw Jordan, I was on the D train headed northbound. I was getting off at the 161st Street stop in the Bronx where I was living at the time. Jordan actually was coming through the trains and he was noticeably homeless and he was asking for food or money, and he sort of saw me and his face lit up, and then he sort of retracted and was like, well, I guess, no, I'll just walk by. He just wanted to walk by me because he was so embarrassed. And I said, no, you're not walking by. You're not going to the next car. You're getting off at the next stop with me. And he sort of shook his head and was like, okay. I bought him some Chinese food and I bought him a meal and I gave him $10. I happened to have some cash on me at the time. And I took one of the shirts off that I was wearing, one of the shirts that I had on. I took it off and I put it on him. And I said, listen to me, when you're ready to get clean, this is where I am. Come and see me. But again, you can't force this. That is the last time I saw him. That's the last time I saw him.
Nobody can convince me that this isn't racially, politically charged. So the drug addict screaming like a lunatic, harassing people for money on a subway, who's black, gets taken down by a white guy, and this white guy's been sitting in jail for a year. And he's being charged with second-degree manslaughter.
I want to state up front that there were many people who tried to help Jordan get the support he needed. But the tragic reality of severe mental illness is that some who suffer from it.
Here we go again with the severe mental illness.
Are at times unaware of their own need for care.
He had a documented history of mental illness, according to police sources. New York Times reported he was on a list of the top 50 sheltered or homeless high-need individuals to be reached by New York City outreach workers. So the guy who took him down, he knew this? No, he was just trying to stop the guy from harassing people and hurting anyone or hurting himself. When someone is on a list of the top 50 of 8 million people living in New York City, and he's on the top 50, who knows what he's going to do? Would it be better if he goes and stabs like the guy today? Because that's what probably would have happened. Another one, previously been arrested for several incidents, including for assault, disorderly conduct, and fare evasion. I don't know what fare evasion is.
Jordan, I just try to let it stay in the back of my mind as much as possible, because when I think about it and speak about it, it makes me very sad. Because he was very, very, very dear to me.
I wanted to paint a portrait of Jordan because I wanted to honor him and paint him in a light where I could sort of create a possibility of him being in a better place, where maybe he's no longer on this earth, but where he is thriving, where he is well, where he is healthy, where he is united with his mother, where all is well.
Of course they declined to comment. I am not surprised at all. Now, what's the core of the problem? His mom was murdered. But at the same time, if he was truly mentally ill, that would have come up before she was murdered. He was 14 when his mom was murdered. That would have came out prior to that. So that's why I don't believe he was that mentally ill. Oh, come on.
Chokehold. Yeah, jurors were shown video of the Marine veteran being interrogated by police, and we're now getting a look at that video. Good day's Briella Tomasetti live in Lower Manhattan with what Penny told investigators and what's being said about the chokehold he applied. Briella, good morning.
Yeah, Dan and Shani, a lot of things mentioned in that video. It was about 29 or 30 minutes long, and this was really key because jurors yesterday got to hear for the first time from the man whose fate they will ultimately decide here in this Manhattan courtroom. We also heard an explosive testimony from the martial arts instructor who Penny. He said that Penny applied an improper version of the chokehold he was taught when he moved to restrain Jordan Neely.
So he was standing behind me, and I kind of came like this.
Okay. Did you apply pressure, didn't you?
No, I wasn't. I just wanted to keep him from getting to people.
On day 7 of the high-profile subway chokehold trial in Lower Manhattan, jurors were shown a half-hour-long videotaped interrogation and heard former Marine Daniel Penny recall in his own words what happened. While speaking with detectives, Penny demonstrated the chokehold he used on Jordan Neely, appearing unaware that Neely died shortly afterwards.
I'm not trying to kill the guy.
Right.
Penny told the pair of detectives he was on his way to the gym after leaving class at City Tech from the J Street Metro Tech station in Brooklyn. At the 2nd Avenue stop, he said Neely got on, started to yell and threaten passengers.
Some guy came in, he's like, whipped his jacket off, and he's like, I'm going to kill everybody.
Several witnesses took the stand, including NYPD Detective Brian McCarthy, who interviewed Penny. McCarthy testified he didn't tell Penny that Neely had died during that 5th Precinct interrogation. And when Penny was questioned about why he decided to get involved in the first place, he said,
I'm not a confrontational guy. In the Marine Corps, I felt the need to step in.
Yeah.
There's women and children on the train.
Did you feel like someone's life was in danger?
100%.
Another key witness also testified, a Marine who trained Daniel Penny. The combat instructor said if done right, the chokehold should knock out a person without killing them. But if held too long, the technique could end a person's life in a matter of minutes. Once the person is rendered unconscious, that's when you're supposed to let go, he told the jury. And Cynthia Harris, a city medical examiner, took the stand late yesterday telling jurors that Neely's cause of death was compression of the neck, consistent with the use of a chokehold.
And Penny's defense.
How many times do we see cops make rash decisions? How many people have died based on cops shooting before they even really truly assess the situation? This is almost like ballsy that, oh, he did the chokehold wrong. Do you want me to name all the police that have shot people just because they moved? It was a split second decision. This guy has no criminal record. He served in the Marines. They even had his, Marine people there. Like, what the hell is wrong with New York? Now everyone's going to feel bad for the victim? Why? Because he's a black man? Are you kidding me? And for the cops, like, oh, he did the chokehold wrong. Dude, you guys fucking shoot all the time. A guy looks at you wrong, you shoot. And it's always like, well, it was a last minute decision and it was my life or theirs and blah, blah, blah. But it's the whole mentality of, well, let's just wait for something to happen and then we'll do something about it. It's so fucked up. It really is so fucked up. So, my hour is up, and that is what I have for you guys. Now it's back to the video I was working on. There is a lot wrong with New York City, 100%. I just can't believe this guy is sitting in jail. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, all right, I'm going to get out, go back to my video. Oh, sweetie pie, no, there was more to it. He was threatening lives. He was saying, if you don't give me money, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt you. All he did was put him in a chokehold. That's it. That's not, there's not that much wrong with it. I mean, someone was threatening your life and he puts him in a chokehold. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Because you got to remember, though, this is New York City. New York City, I'm sorry, New York City subway. They're kind of dangerous. Hey, Des, they're kind of dangerous. I mean, the biggest rat I ever saw was on New York City subway. It was like a cat. It was fucking huge. But they've always been dangerous. They've never been safe. They've always been like, be careful in the subway. People get mugged in the subways forever. But I mean, I'm sure there's videos that if you look up crazy things that happen in New York City subway, you'll find tons of videos. It's not safe. So I can't even imagine how bad it is now. Thanks, Des. I can't even believe how bad it is now. Woohoo! Now I only need 2,499. Something like that, or 2,299. I need to put up a little bar thing. So tomorrow afternoon, I'm probably going to go live with some drama. Thank you, Des. Now that's 2,300 and, I don't know, 35. I got to figure it out. I got to put a little running tab on. So if you're wondering for what, I really want to get a Mac. And I swore I would never, ever, ever get a Mac. But with doing editing, I want a Mac. So I'm saving. So if Queen Bee can raise $100,000, I can raise $3,000 for a Mac. So I forgot what I was going to say. I totally forgot what I was going to say. There was something else I was going to say. I don't remember. Yeah, I swore I would never get a Mac ever. But now that I'm doing editing, Macs are so much better. Do you know the police force looks for people with an IQ of 105 or less? That's actually not true. At least not in New York. I mean, you have to be young. And you have to be in shape. But they don't go by IQs. They want people that like donuts. What? Oh my God, there was something else I was gonna say. Yeah, but not New York City. Yeah, I don't know where you got your number from. If you're under 83, you can't even join. Is there an IQ cap for cops? Have you ever wondered, is there an IQ test to be a cop? If you did, you might have wondered, is there an IQ cap for police officers? Hiring process for cops does not typically include an IQ test. However, it does involve several cognitive assessments similar to an IQ test. Are you looking to become a police officer with NYPD? A high IQ is typically a score over 130. Number represents 2% of the population. That's my Phoenix. Individuals with high IQs are encouraged to become police officers. The individuals bring critical and analytical skills and advanced problem-solving abilities to the force. A higher IQ can be advantageous in many aspects of police work. So yeah, I disagree with that. Oh, that's from that's a law firm. From Disqualification Appeals, Robert Cronenberg from Islandia. I used to live in Islandia. NYPD. Oh, that's what this lawyer does. He works with appeals for police. If you have been disqualified from joining the NYPD, it's important to understand this decision has significant consequences on your career. That's all this guy does. If you feel that you've been disqualified from becoming a cop, I mean, maybe in other parts, but I'm not finding that data. I mean, I see it's on Quora. Okay, some American police departments, not all. Court's okay barring high IQs for cops. Federal court have ruled since 2000 police departments can legally opt to not hire someone because he or she scores too high on an intelligence test. No? I don't know. It never used to be like that. Hey, Brian. I don't know, because cops get paid more if you went to college. So I don't know. I guess if you have a high IQ, go to the FBI. How AI might prevent you from getting something. No, they're right about the court cases. Because I did see that. But I do know they get paid more if they have a degree. My brother got paid more because he had a bachelor's. And I think he got a higher ranking when he first started. I think they want average people. This is not possible with hiring cops of 120 IQ. We look to our elected officials to address this national crisis and end it. Police of America no longer command the respect and credence required to function effectively as peacekeepers. We don't need armed bullies with badges running our towns. We don't need to be at higher risk from our own public servants. We do not feel safe for ourselves or our children. In addition, this is to President Trump. In addition to increased accountability for police, we need better qualified police in uniform. Please revise standard HR screening test for smarter, more emotionally stable, physically fit, and caring police. A fit policeman will be less dependent on weaponry. A more empathetic cop will diffuse rather than escalate a situation. A smarter cop will think things through before profiling an innocent citizen or pulling the trigger in an emotional scenario. That's actually very true. We deserve real protection, not bullying. We deserve competent, intelligent police officials with high enough IQs to implement ethical standards for those sworn to protect and serve us. This is not possible with hiring caps of 120. We look to our elected officials to address this nation in crisis. Now, that's true, though. I can't disagree with that. But maybe that's what I'm thinking, though, is way back in the day. I mean, when my brother became a cop, it was, what, 27 years ago? That's interesting. Ooh, I didn't know that, though. I really didn't know that. That's wild. I don't know when this was written, though. This is back in 2020. That's crazy. I didn't know that. All right. We are now at the 120 hour, which means, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock already? All right. I'm out. I will see you, beautiful people, tomorrow. Don't forget, Wednesday starts Black Friday specials for candles, all going for my Mac. And that's it. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Des, thank you for the donation super chat. I don't know why the thing didn't go off. It should have gone off. So, all right. I'll see you beautiful people tomorrow. Stay safe and have a good night. Peace. And don't forget, hit the thumbs up on your way out.